Boston's Public Garden is also home to a famous family of ducklings. Mrs. Mallard and her 8 little ones are the work of sculptor Nancy Shern, whose career has now spanned 70 years. And as arts editor Jared Bowen tells us, it includes some Russian diplomacy.
30 years ago, a family of little ducklings led by their indomitable mother made the migration from the pages of Robert McCluskey's beloved children's book to Boston's Public Garden. Nancy Shern is the sculptor who hatched them.
So these are your ducklings?
These are my ducklings, my wonderful ducklings. I can't believe that they're really mine after all these years.
Today, families with little ones of their own flock to the ducklings, posing with the bronze statues that Shern, a lifelong sculptor, created after poring over McCluskey's own illustrations.
I went to the Boston Public Library and I sat there for hours copying his drawings.
Shern used her own grandchildren to test the sculpture's sizes to ensure the ducklings wouldn't be too scary, although McCluskey had final approval.
Is it true that he needed some convincing to allow this to happen from his story?
I made a promise to him that I would never reproduce the ducks anyplace.
There has been one major exception. In 1990, then First Lady Barbara Bush and her Russian counterpart, Raisa Gorbachev, visited the ducks. Shern then worked with Bush to gift the Mallard family to Russia. They now reside in their own Moscow park.
Robert McCluskey said it's all right as long as it's for children.
Is there any downfall to being known as the Duck Lady?
Yes and no. I love that I'm known as the Duck Lady. But you know, I've done so many other sculptures all over the world.
She's had a career since the 1940s and has been creating for that entire time. There isn't one word I would use to describe her work, but it's bigger than people think.
And it's now on view at Regis College, where Kate Edney oversaw this Shern retrospective. Curated by graduate students, it stretches from a lion that she created as a high school project in 1946 to a butterfly made this year. Fittingly, the show is called Metamorphosis.
Her art engages with the world, and she is someone that I think most people would aspire to be like. She took her passion and she refused to give up that passion.
I'm an engineer without a license. Somehow, intuitively, I know how to put things together. And I'm a girl. And so, you know, people don't think that I know how to do things.
Was that a challenge for you?
Oh, yes. At one point, I got rejected from so many shows, and I thought, what I'm going to do is call myself Bernard Bernini or something.
Ultimately, she didn't need to. Today, her work is in museum collections, and there is Shern's landmark public art, like her tortoise and hare just beyond the Boston Marathon finish line in Copley Square. And of course, there are the iconic ducklings.
What do you most enjoy about seeing people interact with them?
I love to see all the smiles on the kids' faces, and then everybody's taking photographs of them, and they're hugging them, and they're loving them. It gives me tremendous pleasure. I am so lucky. I think I'm one of the luckiest people you ever met.
I love the Duck Lady. That was a great piece. You would agree she has very good judgment, would you not?
I would. Very good judgment.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because she is on the side of the fearless girl. You know this whole debate, you've probably heard of it. This debate between the fearless girl statue at Wall Street and the bull, and the guy who was the sculptor of the bull back in 1988 wants fearless girl removed because he says it's encroaching, changing the whole purpose of the thing. Which side do you happen to be on, Jerry?
I happen to be on the side of the artist in that particular, the side of the artist who created the bull.
The bull,
piece, yes.
right. And why would that be?
Well, let me explain to you.
The opposite side of Nancy
Because
Shern.
the
Yes.
opposite side of Nancy.
Why would that be again?
Because I do, first of all, stand for everything that the fearless girl represents, which of course is taking on this male-dominated industry. And I thought that she had a time there that was very poignant, and she had her message, and it was great that Senator Elizabeth Warren was there. However, when you have an artist who's come out and said that this piece fundamentally changes the nature of his work, which was supposed to represent American resiliency after the economic collapse in 1987, I think he has a point.
But wait a second, the resiliency disappeared when the Masters of the Universe collapsed the economy in 2008 or whatever year it was, so that disappeared.
That doesn't mean that the nature of his work and what his intent in that piece changes.
Well, I thought everybody's work, you're the art guy, I thought it's supposed to be in the eye of the beholder.
This is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, because you come at this from many different levels, including from State Street's perspective. And State Street was the one who sponsored this
Fearless Girl.
Again, taking down the male-dominated industry, but they're a corporation that has 3 women on their board of directors, so perhaps they should start internally before they start taking on other artists' work.
I am with Nancy Sherman. Nice to see you, Jared Bowen. We'll continue that at some point in the future.